Any questions on the medical? We do also have representatives here from Blue Cross. We have Tammy Lewis and Jerry Curbo. If you have any questions for them, or
those are the ones that were squeezed. They don't. They're staying at the. They used to stay at the Marriott, but now they're at the Days Inn. Not that there's anything wrong with the Days Inn, but.
Motel 6.
And they're also driving back to Dallas. They're not flying. So. In an old car. Actually, they bought my 626. So.
Oh, there you have it. You just came out ahead all the way around.
And I was
Mr.
about to say,
Villarreal.
doesn't Blue Cross Blue Shield have this record profit? Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe not, huh?
Oh, it's not them.
We're a big company,
Yes, I know.
but we spend it wisely on investments, and you'll see it in wellness. In fact, we placed a part-time wellness coordinator in Dan's shop to help see if we can help you move the curve on the
Awesome.
cost increases.
That's
We
great.
appreciate that.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we have a part-time nurse that's here, and we share them with Judson. I think we talked about that the last time, and they're still going
Right.
to stay here. So it's a help. It kind of gives us a little bit more creativity as far as working with our employees.
Great. Are there any questions?
I also have if they can bring the presentation back up, the dental. It's
Okay,
only a
hold
couple
on.
of slides.
Before, we have to vote on this before, because the dental's separate. And also, I want to make sure nobody else has questions.
Okay.
I just wish there was a way that board members could participate in this plan. Oh, gosh.
Well, it's
And
a
I'm
good plan.
extremely grateful that in light of everything that the state does to us, that this is something that our employees do get a tremendous break on. So
Right.
I really appreciate the work that y'all have done on this. So thank you, Blue Cross. Very much.
D1 is the third party of voting on having Blue Cross as our carrier, so that would be D1, and then D2 would be what he's already showed as far as the health and dental.
Well, I'm going to
premiums.
show the dental rates.
Right, but I think they need to vote on D1
Okay.
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's almost my bedtime, so I have to wake up. All right, we are going to vote on the contract, the third-party services for the self-funded medical and RX plans. Okay?
So move that we accept. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second that we approve that bid item as submitted. All right. Any other questions or discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Two possible action regarding health and dental insurance premiums.
And again, Mr. Villarreal.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, executive staff, and guests. I've got Steve Tovar, who is going to represent the dental and health update, because that was D2. But I guess all he has to do now is show dental.
Just show the
Okay.
dental.
Perfect.
In the dental plan, we have one dental plan. It's also self-funded. This is the plan design. The way it's designed is that you graduate into getting to the top tier in year 3 of coverage, where type A is 100%, type B is 80%, type C is 50%. It's got a $50 deductible. The annual max is $1,750. Orthodontia is covered at 50% with a $1,000 annual max and a lifetime of $2,000. This is a look at the income statement. In 2012, we project the revenue to be $2.9 million. The expenses, $3,160,000, a deficit of $260,000, which would come off the beginning assets of $1,353,000. The employee premiums proposed are a $2 to a $5 increase with no plan design changes. So with those increases, the revenue is $2,990,000, recommended funding $3.2 million. That's a $210,000 deficit. The premiums on the employees are only for 6 months in our fiscal year, because it will take effect in January and our fiscal year ends in June. So that's $105,000 off of the beginning net assets of $1,353,000 for an ending of $1,248,000. Any questions?
Yeah, I want to know why y'all are having so much fun over there, and we're having to look at numbers, Mr. Villarreal. All right. Any questions regarding the dental plan? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
I recommend that we approve the attached employee premiums and district contributions for the 2013 plan year as submitted.
Woo-hoo.
Good reading.
Second.
Very good reading. I have a motion and a second. Did you get that, Ms. King? Yes, I did. Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Mario and the representatives from Blue Cross Blue Shield. We're glad you're here for our entertaining meeting. We appreciate you coming. Next item,
3, possible action regarding Chapter 41.
Mr. Villarreal.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, executive staff, and guests, I have Brian Moy, and he'll be covering the next 3 agenda items, and I guess we'll take them in order, but the first one will be Chapter 41.
Good evening, Madam President.
Good evening.
Members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, executive staff, and guests. As Dan pointed out, the first of these 3 business items that are showing is the Chapter 41. This is just the annual approval of our option to reduce our property wealth per student, which is ridiculous because we have no recapture costs. And so there's nothing to reduce, but the state makes us say how we would choose to reduce it if we were in recapture. And so
Makes perfect sense.
so what this says, what this says is if we were in recapture, the district would choose to have our recapture payments offset against a certain section of the state funding model, the additional state aid for tax reduction. And that's what's before you for approval tonight.
All righty. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the agreement for the purchase of attendance credits from the state.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next item.
4, possible action regarding adoption of 2012-2013 tax rate.
Mr. Villarreal.
We have Mr. Moy here.
I see
I
that.
am still here. Okay, this is our annual tax rate, tax levy ordinance. And before you, you will see a maintenance and operations tax that remains at $1.04, the maximum allowed for school districts without a tax ratification election, and an interest and sinking or debt service fund tax rate of 38.5 cents. That is approximately 2.2 cents higher than we had for actually the past 5 years. We had a significant debt service fund balance, and we were living off of significant property value growth for several years, where we were not, we had no reason to increase the tax rate. However, obviously, we've been using that fund balance for the past 3 years since property values had been stagnant. And with the coming on of the 2012 bond program, we are going to have additional debt service payments. And we have pretty much tapped the fund balance as low as we feel comfortable with going, not knowing what exactly is going to happen with property tax collections. Our property tax certified value, which you're going to approve the for certification roll in a couple of minutes, shows that we will likely grow in terms of total taxable value by about 0.5% this year, but that doesn't help much on the INS side. That's basically a little over $1 million. But in terms of collections, collection rates can fluctuate by 0.5% also, to where we don't necessarily count on getting every single one of those dollars. We don't have enough fund balance to not start to play it a little more conservative. So we're bringing to you tonight a change in the interest and sinking tax rate up to 38.5 cents. So a question may come up anticipating, well, what about the refunding portion of the bond? Why did that help it come down? It will help our INS tax rate somewhat, but the effect of which bonds were refunded, we really won't start to see a significant impact on that until 2014, just because of which bonds out of which older issues were brought out and refunded. We'll start to see maybe about $1 million a year impact to the good through our refunding beginning in 2014. And just to let you know, RBC Capital Markets, which was the lead underwriter of the pool, told us at the day that we did the bids that they had never sold bonds as low in terms of yield interest rates as we had this year. I mean, everyone hears about historical lows on rates, historical lows on rates. We benefited from the historical lows on rates. Net yield on 30-year debt less than 2.9% in some instances, which is just unheard of.
And it was good timing because we went to market on July 26, and the days before that, they were trending a little bit over 3%. So it was kind of the luck of the draw that we went to market that Thursday, but we were able to save quite a bit. And we refunded almost $70 million worth. And we're looking at maybe doing that in the next few months and looking at the market and see how much we can refund and maybe save a little bit more. Like Brian was saying, in the future, we might, to the positive, be $1 million. If we go back out, we might be able to do the same. So we still have room to play with as far as refunding. And then also we still have, 285 million still left to sell because we only sold 114 million off of this bond, this current one. So,
How much is in our fund balance?
The fund balance for the INS fund, well, I always think of it in terms of debt service fund as if we're on an August 31 year end.
Okay.
And because we have to make sure that the taxes are enough to cover our subsequent August payments. Sure. And after we cover the subsequent August payments, there will be about $7 million left over, which is about about a little over 6% fund balance, which if you just if the property values estimate, let me back up. The property value certification is about 95% accurate. As of July 25th, when the appraisal district says, here's your certified value, there is still a large chunk of property that is still under protest. Mm-hmm. If that does not come to the district's favor, or if our collection rate starts to drop off, 1% combined between lower value and lower collection eats up almost $3 million of that $6 to $7 million. Okay. So that's why we're saying we're leaving what we think is going to be the bare minimum in there that we feel comfortable with.
Just because I don't know, is the INS fund balance, is it the same as our M&O balance where you look at it like in a monthly thing? It's not the same. Okay.
No. Yeah, this is a.
Yeah, I know it's different. I just didn't know if you looked at it like, okay, we have.
Like you look at your M&O.
No, this.
It's not based on time. It's based on.
No, it is strictly based on
money.
It's based on money, and it is like when we try and come up with a figure for what the INS rate should be, it's a lot of it is based on timing of collections.
Yeah. Right.
Because we are assured by the state, that on the M&O side, that the foundation payments will come in X% of the allotment in August, X% in October, per capita amount spread out over 10 equal payments. INS collections is strictly at the mercy of who pays the Bexar County Tax Assessor Collector.
Okay.
Now, we have historical norms,
sure,
but even then, we just found that we thought that, for instance, June came in alarmingly lower than we thought it was going to come in at, and that kind of surprised us. But it turns out it was just a delay. We got a lot the first week of July, but it's just there's just too much uncertainty there.
A lot of variables.
So really, to answer your question, most of our INS money comes in January, because that's when almost everyone pays their property taxes.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have a schedule going out the 30 years as far as what we think our INS rate has to be, but I mean, that's always moving as we go to refund or as we sell new product. That kind of changes, but we do have an idea of what we're going to need next year and the following year. The longer we wait to go out for a bond sale, the longer we can hold our rate a little lower.
I think it's important to note that about a year ago, when we were going out to our voters to talk about a bond election in the fall of 2011, we were telling them somewhere between 5 cents and 8 cents. So a year later, which is our first bond sale, we're going up on the INS tax rate 2.2 cents. Feel very good about that at this time. Brian and Dan have worked awfully hard to make that happen. I think it's a very good story for our community that we didn't have to go up 6, 7, 8 cents.
Right.
We're at 2.2 cents right now.
It's great.
Very good.
Great. Are there any more questions? All right. I need a motion, and it needs to be specifically what's underlined. Letty has it.
I move property taxes be levied by the adoption of a tax rate of $1.42.5 cents, consisting of
No,
one.
back up.
Oh, boy.
Start over. 1.425.
Okay, where am I? $1.42.5 cents?
No, yeah, you said 0.5 cents, but that's not it.
Okay, so you want me to start over?
Yeah.
All right. I move property taxes be levied by the adoption of a tax rate of $1.42.
$1.425.
$1.42.5 cents. Did I say
No,
that correctly?
not 0.5.
You can blame me for that. I wrote it out in terms of thinking it
Let
might
me
be a
look at
little
this
bit
one.
easier.
I move property taxes be levied by the adoption of a tax rate of $1.425, consisting of $1.04 for maintenance and operations and .3854 debt service.
Perfect. Do I have a second?
Brian, you were
Second.
trying to sabotage me.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Last chance for a discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, next item.
5, possible action regarding certified appraisal roll.
Mr. Villarreal.
Yes, ma'am. Brian Moy is still at the podium.
Yes,
Brian?
he is.
My apologies, Ms. Resnahan. I wrote it out the way I would have said it if I were reading that weird sentence. So, okay.
Worst things that happened.
The last item of this set of business items to be approved is the acceptance of the Bexar County Appraisal District certified appraisal roll. The appraisal district certified the district's property values as of July 25th, 2012, and the roll summary is supplied for you as an attachment, and this is the summary roll which will be provided to Sylvia Romo's office. When she processes the roll, she will produce a preliminary levy based on that roll, and we'll be back in October because state tax law requires that you formally approve that tax roll also.
Just out of curiosity, what happens if we don't approve it?
I really,
I
don't
have no
want to find
idea.
out, ma'am.
It's just kind of weird that we would have to approve it. Okay, do I have a motion?
I move that we approve or accept the certified appraisal roll for tax year 2012 for the Northeast Independent School District.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in, oh, sorry, Mr. White. Oops, is your mic misbehaving?
Okay, here we go. The total appraisal amount is, did I read that correctly, like 27 billion?
Correct. The certified portion of the roll is 27.4 taxable. And then the properties that are still under protest is the uncertified assessed value is another $800 million. So that's the uncertain portion of the roll.
All right, thank you.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item. Thank you, Mr. Moy.
E, construction. One, possible action regarding 2011 bond program, Windcrest Elementary School, facility addition and renovations project, schematic design approval.
Mr. Clary.
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, and guests, we finally reached the real reason we're here tonight. I will turn this over to Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you, Ron. Madam President and members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, members of the executive staff, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first schematic design presentation for the 2011 bond program. The project we're going to review tonight is the Windcrest Elementary School project. This is the agenda we're going to follow, and I will be as brief as I can.
Aren't they going to be excited?
I'd like to recognize, as we get started, the project architect is here tonight, Jerry Lammers, if he could stand up, with Alamo Architects. And I'd also like to recognize Miss Jeannie Weidenbach, who is the principal of Windcrest, is also here this evening. Thank you all for coming. This is our project design team that's been put together for this project. We've got a great group of consultants led by Alamo Architects. This is their first project with Northeast School District. The architect was given this bond program to design against, to construct a new design a new two-story classroom addition of some 43,300 square feet that included the following components: 20 classrooms, one being a music room with shared student restrooms, a full library and instructional media center with adjacent computer lab, teacher resource supports areas, an air-cooled central plant, adding covered drop-off and pickup areas for the parent and bus loops, which currently the school does not enjoy those, and achieve a LEED certification for the project. Even though we're building on an occupied campus, there are methodologies that we can use to still work towards achieving a LEED certified project. Additionally, we're going to be doing renovations within the existing building that's going to focus on the administrative, counseling, and clinic areas. And as a result of the square footage that's made available by building the new library, we're able to also accommodate creating an ALE classroom suite for the campus, which currently they have a very small ALE classroom, which is desperately needed being enlarged. We'll also be improving the size of the main entry lobby, essentially by making outdoor space indoor and improving the front of the school. The Windcrest mayor has already been appraised of our work and is very pleased with the plan that we're presenting to you this evening. This is an aerial view of the Windcrest campus. It's bordered by 4 streets. The campus has 10 portable buildings that are located on the far left. You can see the new gymnasium is built behind the old gym that was built as part of the 2007 bond program. And the goal of this project is to build a classroom addition that's going to remove all 10 of these portables and the restroom portable. Windcrest currently enjoys the distinction of having the most current portables of any elementary school in the district today. This is a view of what the front of the school looks like off of Faircrest Drive, being the top 2 pictures, and then the bus loop off of Mid-Crown Drive, which across the street is the golf course. Notice the architecture of the building is circa the 1960s, with the overhang roof, the large bay windows being distinctive of that era of construction. The architect is going to use the same type of color brick in the new classroom addition, which we're going to show you, but he's going to add a little flash with some colors, which Ms. Weidenbach is very excited about. So here is the schematic plan for the campus. And I'll just point out to you that our renovation project focuses on the library, and then as the library is going to receive the new admin area, we're going to renovate this area into the clinic and the counseling area, and then the old clinic provides a water source for us to be able to create our ALE restroom suite. Now, at the beginning, Mr. Lammers was very excited about his first project, so he really went to town, and he came up with 7 different plans of how he could approach building this project at Windcrest. He met with our staff and the principal and their staff, and from these 7 plans, which looked at the building essentially on all sides of the campus, we eliminated 4 options and focused on options 1, 4, and 7. Option 1 being a building where the general location of the majority of the portables are. Option 4 being a slight variation of option 1, turning the building. And then option 7 puts the building up along Mid-Crown. After we met and looked at those 3 options, we then focused on 3 variations of option 1 and then option 4, discounting those 2 options, and what we took as our schematic design plan was option 1B, which was option 1 with kind of an angled building. And we really liked the library that had the curvilinear wall instead of the more rectangular, like we have at many of our elementary schools presently. So we did essentially a combination of option 1, B, and C became the basis for our schematic design plan, which is shown here. In order to accomplish this project, we're going to move 6 portables, leaving 4 in place as well as the restroom portable, and we have funds separately in our program budget to move portable buildings because we accounted for that in our preliminary bond planning. As you can see, we'll have a new covered entry and a bus covered canopy for our bus loop. One thing the principal pointed out to us was they have an issue with the buses that come in and depart, and parents, currently the entrance to the parking lot for the parents is here where this tree is. And so the parents stack up along Mid-Crown, and so it creates some congestion here. So the suggestion was to move the entry to the school off of Faircrest and off of Mid-Crown to try to deconflict that. So that's one thing we're going to focus on in our civil plan. Now here is a floor plan of the main floor of the building. We have an enclosed connection, so the students will stay within the building when they go to the new classroom wing. We've put right there at the closed connection a central teacher workroom. Currently, the campus doesn't really have any kind of a central workroom to speak of. I mean, they have a small little area where they have copiers, but this is going to provide them a new elementary school type of workroom. And it's essentially at the intersection of the new building and the existing building, so it's centrally located. We then have 10 classrooms on the first floor, and we build our classrooms in modules of 2 centered around a pair of restrooms. Off the intersecting corridor takes you out to the library and the multi-purpose lab. And then we have in the center of the building, we have our mechanical space, which is stacked to the second floor, and we have our teacher support area, plus the conference room. Also on the first floor, we have our music classroom to make it easy for all the students. Since the rest of the building is a 1-story building, all the students can access the music classroom, which currently is in a portable. There's also a covered walkway that brings you into the building here at the library, so we have an indoor connection and an outdoor covered connection to get to areas of the building. On the second floor, we have the remainder of the 10 classrooms, again grouped in blocks of 2 around the restrooms. Then you see the renovation plan for the main building. We're going to move the wall that's currently here that separates the outdoor lobby or the outdoor vestibule from the corridor. We're going to move it out to the front of the building, and by doing this, we can create an indoor lobby. Currently, when you walk through the doors, you're in the corridor. There's really no lobby space. We've located the reception area directly opposite the lobby, so people can be checked in. The teacher dining room used to be located over here next to this classroom. We're going to move it over here so it's adjacent to the cafeteria. And then this is the main administrative suite with the principal and her staff. Then over here, we're going to have the new clinic with a direct entry off of the new lobby in case parents need to come pick up their children. And then we have the counseling located next to that. And then where the old clinic was, we've been able to create 2 ALE classrooms with an integrated restroom that will be able to support an ALE type of operation. Typically in the restroom, we put a large bed that is mechanical so that it can be used as a large changing table to help handle kids that have need of that, as well as we have a shower and a water closet. The architect's done a great job of taking this interior space and creating exactly what we need to support the campus. This is a massing study that shows how the campus addition presents itself with regards to the existing classroom building, main academic building here. And this is the 5th grade building, and then behind it you have the new gym and then the old gym. We do have to relocate the kindergarten playground over near the other playground areas because it's currently located here. It's pretty much in the center of the library area. That's not going to work for us.
Not so much.
And then here's another massing study looking at a different perspective. You can see the covered drop-off area for the parents and the covered drop-off pickup area for the buses. Currently, the students just wait outside in the sun or the rain.
Are the portables going to stay?
No, all the portables after the project is over will be taken away.
So they're there during the construction? Is that
Yes.
why the pictures are there? With
That's
the-
right.
Okay,
They have to stay until the end of the project and then they'll be removed.
okay. Thank you.
Now, these are some perspectives, renderings that Alamo Architects has created that shows you the library addition and then the background you see the 2-story classroom building. They are going to include in the brick pattern some glazed block. They add a little bit of color to the building, and then the superintendent and the principal really like the idea of having these 7 colors that were arrayed as pillars along the library, as well as along the entry canopy. Kind of like large crayons here. Now, this is a view looking southwest where you can see the new library addition. In the foreground and the background, you see your 2-story classroom addition. Notice the architect has also included some pop-ups of clear story to bring in some natural daylight into the building corridors. And here's our northwest view. It's a very efficient building, double-loaded corridors. Here's some building elevations, west and east elevations. South and north elevations. You can see the covered walkway that brings you into the library area along the outside of the new building from the existing building. Now, this is a comparison of our program analysis. The renovated area obviously is 8450 as is existing space. So the architect has arrayed next to our program plan his actual square footage, using up all the square footage. We gave him a program of 43,300, and he returned a program of 43,915, so a very efficient design that's very close to the model that we gave him within his contract. The board-approved budget we're recommending is $11,500. And the architect's preliminary budget through schematic design is $10,850,000, so we're currently showing ourselves to be under budget. And the $11,500 budget that you're approving this evening does not include all of the construction dollars available within the bond program. That's what we've decided to budget for the Windcrest project. If there is some contingency within that to go beyond that if necessary. But I don't anticipate we're going to need to go any farther. This is our CBAC check, where we lay on the left-hand side our planning estimate in terms of budget, scope, and time, and on the right-hand side where we stand today in terms of budget, scope, and time. And as you can see, we're currently projecting ourselves under budget. We're meeting all of the program scope objectives. And our facility is planned to be open by August of 2015. Looking at the schedule that we've given the architect to follow, we anticipate completing the design by September of next year. Then we have the bidding phase with board award of the contract by December of next year. A 15-month construction window completes the building by essentially spring break of 2015. And then we have the spring and the summer to do the interior renovations of the campus building, with the entire project completed by August of 2015. At this point, I'll answer any questions that you may have.
So you have to move the portables kind of to the back. So
6 of them.
6 of them.
Yes, ma'am.
So that you can do the construction. So the construction is going to be going on during school time and
Yes, ma'am.
all of that.
Right, it's going to take us, we estimate 15 months of construction once we move the portables, which will move during one of the summers to make ready for the project to start, since the project is anticipated to start essentially in the winter time.
But you're trying to do the interior of the existing school during the summertime?
Well, if you look on the schedule, Ms. Perkins, you can see that at the end of December of next year, we'll be back to you with a recommended contract to do the project. We would have moved the portables, the 6 portables that are in the way, during the summer of 2013.
Okay.
And then when we award the contract here, the construction phase begins shortly after the contractor mobilizes in the January, February timeframe. And then he has 15 months to build the new classroom building. About the time he's finishing that, or around the spring break timeframe of 2015, we'll begin the renovation work of the admin area, and that will conclude by 2015 in August before school starts, and the new building will be ready to be occupied then as well.
Yeah.
Why is the design phase longer than the building phase?
We want to make sure the design is as accurate as we can make it, and we've given the architect a very conservative schedule and told him if he can move faster with the design to please do so.
But typically, what's the design phase? I mean, this seems really long to me, unless I just don't remember correctly. But it seems like even on a high school, the design phase is not this long.
Typically, for our projects, we usually allocate for design about 12 months. And that's what we did.
Yeah, but that's for a whole school. This is for an addition.
Any kind of project of this magnitude, whether it be an entire middle school or a $10 million project, there's still a lot of different disciplines that have to be properly integrated. We're doing all of our designs in this bond program using Revit and the building information model, so we're creating 3-dimensional models of the school projects and then using that information to help the contractors prepare more accurate bids. And to get the model correct and accurate, it takes a little longer than what we've done in the past, where we just essentially did 2D plans and specs. And I anticipate the architect's going to better this schedule, but this is the schedule we gave him that's a not-to-exceed schedule.
So would the benefit in doing the 3D model mitigate the time between inception of building and the end product?
The benefit of the Revit and the BIM model mitigates the potential for change orders during construction.
For error.
That's right. We get a better product because we've done a better job of coordinating the project, because now all the consultants are looking at the work in three dimensions instead of 2 dimensions. So you can see clashes that occur between MEP systems and structural systems or architectural systems, and you can eliminate those clashes before you put the project out to bid, versus the contractor points it out to you after he's already got the contract and says, now to fix that, it's going to cost you a change order.
So it's really like a quality improvement tool that keeps your cost down.
That's correct.
Even though the time frame is expanded, so does the cost of money play into the costs that you're saving with this new model?
I'm not sure I understand the
Well,
question.
in other words, since now our timeline has expanded, does that cost more money? Not really.
I don't anticipate there's going to be any material cost increases over the
That's
four
kinda what
additional
I'm
months,
asking.
over the 4 additional months we're spending on design. I mean, that's essentially a quarter. I don't see there's going to be any huge change in prices in that period. I don't. But I think we're going to get a better bid from the contractors, given that we provide them access to the three-dimensional model. So no longer is the contractor simply going to sit there with a set of plans and try to take off how many bricks are in the building. He can click on the brick, and it says there are, 10,260 bricks of this size, and there's so many bricks of this size, and there's so many lights, and there's so many this, and so many. It's all available now in the model. So it gives the contractor a better accurate bid, which should give the owner the best possible price, because there's no guesswork, or there's minimal guesswork.
So the 3D model, I'm trying to picture it. It's obviously on the computer, correct?
Yes?
And it's obviously on a flat screen. So where does the 3D really, I mean.
Well, you can look at any element of the design, whether it be structurally, architecturally, or MEP-wise. In essentially, on the screen, you're seeing a three-dimensional looking image.
Kind of like Google Earth.
Like the new Google map, yeah.
You come into.
You'll have to bring us a sample next time.
Be happy to.
You do something.
And we did do the same thing for middle school 14. We were able to model the architectural and the structural systems. And the contractors actually created their own 3D MEP models and merged it with that.
How long was the design phase for that?
That design phase was pretty close to what we have going here, the better part of 16 months.
Okay. And is the old gym staying or is it going?
The old gym is staying, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Is it being renovated at all?
It's not being touched, and it's not air conditioned. It's just there as an extra space that the campus can make use of.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have questions?
I just think the plan is wonderful.
It's beautiful. I love it.
I love the color. I
Beautiful.
love this. So,
It's
thank you for that,
adorable.
Mr. Lambert.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the Windcrest Elementary School schematic design presentation and authorize the full development of design and construction documents for this project.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
Yes, ma'am.
Next item.
F, consent. 1, business services. A, budget amendment 1. B, donations. C, bid items. D, $50,000 purchases. 2, construction. A, 2011 bond program, Nimitz Middle School facility additions and renovations project, construction manager at risk, bid delivery method approval. B, 2011 bond program, Reagan High School facility additions and renovations project, construction manager at risk, bid delivery method approval. C, 2010 QSCB program, Hidden Forest Elementary School re-roofing and roof-related work project schematic design approval. D, 2010 Qualified School Construction Bond Program, recommendation to approve the revised project list. E, 2010 QSCB Program, Jackson Keller Elementary School, Central Plant Relocation and Chiller Replacement Project, Phase 6, schematic design approval. F, assignment of roof consultant professional services for District Roof Inspection Program 5-year plan 2012 to 2016 M&O program. G, professional services contracts, construction contracts, and related contract amendments. 3, minutes from June 2012. 4, end of consent.
Are there any board members wishing to pull an item from consent? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
I move that we accept consent as presented in.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. There can be no discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
10, matters from the floor.
All right. This time is provided for citizens to address the board on issues or concerns other than the character or name of any student, staff, or board member. Each person who signs up shall be allowed to address the board one time for no more than 5 minutes. Therefore, a presentation involving more than one person is not permitted. Board members cannot respond to issues or concerns that were not listed on the agenda, but they may assign an issue to a future agenda or to the administration for further study. All right?
Patsy Esterline.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board.
Good evening.
Excuse me. Okay, overs. Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, executive staff, and guests. My name is Patsy Esterline, and I live at 411 Hialeah, and I'm the president of the Northeast AFT. At the end of the last school year, several schools were having trouble getting subs. The teachers would call in their absences and get a job number, but no subs would pick up that job. So co-teachers and instructional assistants would be assigned to be the subs in those particular classrooms. This situation shortchanged the special needs students that those people serve on a regular basis. If this happens once in a while, that's understandable. But when it consistently happens, that's tragic. Since it is the beginning of the school year, now is the opportunity to fix this problem. Northeast AFT is requesting that all administrators serve 5 days each school year as a teacher. This will ensure that they don't forget what it's like in the trenches. I believe the students would appreciate seeing their principals teaching in the classroom. It would also be a partial solution for the substitution problem that some schools have experienced. So please consider this administrative addition. Thank you.
Tom Cummins.
Madam Chair, may I pass out a piece of paper?
Sure.
Ms. Galindo, members of the board, Dr. Gottardy, members of the staff and audience, my name is Tom Cummins. I'm speaking for Northeast AFT, 6800 Park 10 Boulevard. Tonight, Northeast AFT would like to introduce you to a new AFT website. It's called sharemylesson.com. It was made in collaboration with Great Britain's TES Connect, and we're very excited about this website. As the name implies, it is a site where teachers can share their lesson plans, view or download others' lesson plans, and interact with teachers regarding those lesson plans and other resources. While it was officially rolled out on July 28th, in this short time, over 100,000 teachers have signed up for it. It's not limited simply to teachers, it's really for anyone who works with kids and is interested in it. Excuse me, have the same problem Ms. Esterline has. Some important points I'd like to run by you. It's free. AFT, along with TES, spent $10 million to set this program up. So it's one we are quite serious about. For a union, $10 million is a very large amount of money. Currently, there are over 250,000 resources online, and it's growing every day. Lesson plans are scored with stars by other teachers. They receive comments with suggestions, and you can view how many downloads any particular set of lesson plans might have, which is usually a pretty good indicator of whether of how people judge those lesson plans. The website provides a venue for collaboration as well as support. And besides the lesson plans, there are also classroom posters, quizzes, handouts, and videos. We're very excited about this program. I went back, I haven't taught in a while, but I went back to look at fractions, which I always had a difficult time teaching. And there was just an unlimited amount of lesson plans for the level that I was teaching at. The greatest wisdom I brought from that is that there are a whole lot of smarter teachers than I ever was out there. It would have been great to have had it. And in fact, I was combining one set of lesson plans with another and switching stuff, and I'm not even teaching at the moment. So we're very excited about this, and we hope that you and the administration will be supportive of it too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Allison Shirawi.
Good evening, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Dr. Gottardy, executive staff, and members of the community. I'm Allison Shirawi of 9033 Arrow, Suite 116. Northeast Education Association is excited about this new school year. We want to take this opportunity to thank you for recognizing all of the employees' hard work and efforts, and thank you for the 2% salary increase. With the slow recovery of the economy, employees appreciate any amount to deflect the rapidly rising cost of living. The association looks forward to working with the district in a positive manner to address any issues that may come up and ensure an excellent educational experience for all of our students.
Thank you. Next item.
11, reports. A, Superintendent's report.
We have no action there. Next item.
B, financial statement, review of expenditures, investment monthly report, Government Code 2256.023.
Those have been provided for you. Next item.
12, board members' requests for items to be placed on next month's agenda.
Are there any board members with items they'd like to be placed on the next month's agenda? Okay, no action there. Next item.
13, discussion and possible action regarding board member requests for reports from the administration.
No action there. Next item.
14, adjournment.
Woohoo! The time is 9:46.